Hey guys, what's going on? Thanks for joining me today. I'm Mark. This is Spiguyver Backpacking. I appreciate you guys checking this out, coming along today. Today what we're talking about is water filtration, water purification, and the things that you need to do to make sure that you're protected when you're out on the trail so that you don't come down with any stomach issues due to the water that you're consuming. So let's get into this. Let's go. All right, today we're primarily going to be talking about the three most popular systems that people are using out on the trail, especially when we're talking about the long distance trails. You know, primarily those big three, the AT, PCT, CDT. People are using primarily one of these three that I've got here with me today. So we'll go kind of in the order of when I used them, talk about the pros and cons of them, and where we're at now, and kind of some of the things that you need to do or be aware of depending on which one that you're actually using. So let's get started with the Sawyer Mini. So this is the lightest of the bunch. This is the cheapest of the bunch. It costs, currently, if you go onto Amazon, $18.40. Weighs in at 1.4 ounces or 40 grams. Really simple to use. You screw it onto either a water bottle or they come with the Sawyer bags, or you can upgrade and get something like a Knock Vecto bag. So really simple to use, and it's got common threads, so it screws onto a variety of different systems. You know, it's designed for the Sawyer bag, but it also can screw onto any of your smart water bottles, things like that. So it's really convenient that you can kind of switch things out. Now, when you've got one of these bottles, it doesn't really work quite as well, but this is a representation of like a smart water bottle or a Life Water. It'll screw on just like this, and then you've got the ability. So all three of the filters that we're going to be talking about today are squeeze type. So you'll fill the bag with your water. It'll be the dirty water in there. You'll screw this on here, take the cap off, and then you'll squeeze. Put pressure on there and squeeze it through. So why did I go away from this one? If this is the lightest of the bunch, why am I not still using this one? Well, it has to do with just the flow rate. Flow rate on this is pretty slow. Now, I did use this for a long time. I used this for years while people were switching to the squeeze, and even when some people were starting to use the BeFree, I was still using the Mini because I really liked how light it was, how little it is. You know, form factor is something that I like on it, and I didn't mind taking breaks and being able to sit and wait for my water. So it wasn't a big deal for me. Now, there are some things to be aware of with this, and both positive and negative. Number one, it is slow. It is extremely slow. It's less than half as fast as the squeeze. So you're going to be there for a while. It takes a lot of pressure. And if you're using the stock bags, the Sawyer bags, make sure that you've got backups because those will split. The amount of pressure that it takes to actually filter through this one will rupture these bags quite easily. Now, these bags will actually rupture as well using the squeeze, but you'll do it a lot more often when you're using this. These do tend to gunk up and get kind of in need of backflush, so a lot of people will carry one of these with them. This is the plunger that comes with it so that you can backflush it. Once you backflush it, it does regain most of its flow capacity. Additionally, if you have a smart water bottle, this is the cap off of like a smart water bottle. You can have your cap on your smart water bottle, put it over the outlet side, and back flush it on the trail using that. But this is a very slow method, and I got to the point where I was not enjoying, being out on the trail. Someone like Rain Man with me, he'd have his BeFree, he'd be already drinking, and I'm, a quarter of a bottle filtered. So I did go away from that. I went to the squeeze, which the Sawyer squeeze is a great piece. What I like about this one over the BeFree is that this one, even when it is clogged, even when it needs to be back flushed, it can still filter by gravity. So you can gravity feed with this and it will still filter water, and it's perfectly usable. I did swap out the top, like I had mentioned before. The cap that comes with it is a push-pull. I swapped it out for one of these sport caps, like from a smart water bottle. And what that does is it allows me to back flush this when needed on the trail. And I think that that's a very useful thing to have. Now let's talk about the cost and the weight of this one. This one costs $29.08 currently on Amazon. Weighs 3.9 ounces or 110 grams. Now, as you can see, there's still a little bit of water in this one from the last time that I used it. So maybe it's a little bit lighter than that, maybe 100 grams, but still more than double the weight of the Mini. But the flow rate is so much better. More than double the flow rate of the Mini. And this is a great option. It's the heaviest of all of them, but it's really not that heavy. You know, under 4 ounces for this downside. So the downside is this right here. So this is a gasket that goes in the end right here, and that has to be there for this to function correctly. So I've got a spare one that I keep in my divvy bag that in case I lose this one, I can throw that in there, because otherwise you have water that seeps out of here. It doesn't really work. The water will flow down the sides, and now you've got dirty water getting in with your clean water, and you absolutely do not want that. So that is the squeeze. Now, like I said, one of the things that I like is moving away from these bags that come with them. These things are junk. They split. They get holes in them quite a bit, and they're pretty hard to work with. They've got this one small opening, and that's it. So what you'll see is a lot of people, myself included, have switched to these Nock Vecto bags. And what's great about these is that they have an end that has this slide piece. Okay, this one's, there we go. Has this slide piece, opens up, and now you have this big mouth. And so it's really good for just dipping in the water and getting a big scoop of water. Usually 1, maybe 2 scoops, and this thing is completely full. You put the slide back on, and now you can roll it and filter it. It's a much more supple bag. These do have a history and a reputation for getting pinholes, and actually when we get to talking about my BeFree, this one actually has a small, very small, fine pinhole in it right now. But what you'll find is that you're going to get more pinholes, and you're going to get more, have more problems with the bag if you're using a Mini than if you're using a Sawyer squeeze. And the reason is the amount of pressure that you have to put on the bag to get it through the Mini. So I recommend these bags just for the ease of use, and they just, you're not going to have as many problems with them. Yes, you will probably get a pinhole at some point. It's life. You know, it kind of comes down to how you treat it, where you put it, how you're using it. All right, so let's move on to the last filter that we're talking about here, and that is this one. This is the BeFree. So this is by Katadyn or Katadyn, depending on who you are and how you say it. Big difference on this one is that the thread pattern is much bigger. While these have pretty much a standard pattern that goes on most water bottles, really can be used pretty extensively across. So smart water bottles, life water bottles, these, pretty common. This has a 43 millimeter, I believe, is the size. And so as you can see, it's a much bigger cap that it screws into. So it screws in just like that. So you can get this with, you know, I think it's a 0.6 liter, a 1 liter, a 2 liter BeFree bag. And it's kind of like a soft canteen, as I think what they call them, or something along those lines. But what's nice about these is just the flow rate. The flow rate on this filter is incredible. Now they say this is an easy clean membrane. You know, with these ones you have to back flush them. Having a syringe or having the sport cap that can go onto the smart water bottles and squeeze through it really does help. This one, they say you just stick it in clean water and swish it around, and it's supposed to get stuff out of there. I will tell you that when these clog up, they are clogged. That is probably the biggest downside. Now, you can get really, 6 months of continuous use on the trail. People do entire through hikes using a single BeFree. It's probably not going to have the same flow rate at the end that it did at the beginning, and it really depends on where you're getting your water from. How clean is the source? Are you doing any pre-filtering? A lot of people will use like a bandana pre-filter and then use their filter to keep it clean longer. This one here has slowed down significantly over time, and so I recently just purchased a brand new one. Now, one of the things that anyone who's been following me knows is that I actually carry it in the bag. I still have the original bag for this one that I carried in every day. So I will leave this in this bag, rolled up. I actually put it with this, roll it all up, and put it in the side pouch of my backpack. But like I said, the flow rate, especially when these things are new and not clogged, are so fast. I would say this new versus this new, it's probably 50% faster than this one, and this one's pretty good. But just the flow rate is incredible. You can filter water so quickly. But there's that downside. All of these have pluses and minuses. That downside of this thing clogging, when it does clog, you're not getting stuff through it, and that's a big downside. And so you've got to have some sort of backup when you're using this. And so what I've actually done, I considered going back to the squeeze, and I actually did a lot of work cleaning this one, making sure it was ready, making sure that I had the spare, making sure I had this and it was clean, so that I could start carrying it again, because it does have that kind of backup feature that it will gravity feed even when it's clogged. But I started using it and the flow rate kind of frustrated me. These are just so much faster. So I bought the new one, and I also bought some of the MicroPure MP1 tablets that I use, and they're in my bag. I haven't dug them out, but I've got those as a backup in case this clogs out on the trail, which it shouldn't clog for many months, and I'm gonna make sure that I'm picking good water. But as a backup, I've got that. So if this does clog and I still need water, I can just grab water, drop the tabs in it, wait the amount of time that it's supposed to wait, and then I'll be ready to go. I can drink it and be safe. But these are the three most common systems out there. I didn't talk about the weight and cost of the BeFree. So let's talk about the brand new one. It is 1.75 ounces, 50 grams, and costs $26.95 on Amazon right now. So it's right in the middle as far as price. It's right in the middle as far as weight, but much closer to the bottom end. So 40 grams, 50 grams. Probably 4 to 5 times the flow rate, if not more than that, on this one. So this one's gonna be much, much faster, not much of a weight penalty. Big downside though is you've gotta have a bag that it can actually connect to. If you puncture that bag, lose that bag, you're not gonna be able to just grab a water bottle and screw it on. And that's where having something of a backup like the tablets is gonna come in handy. Hope this helped out. If you have any questions, any comments, if you wanna know about times I've used these, issues I've had with them, anything like that, let me know. I'm an open book when it comes to this stuff, and I want to help you guys out and make sure you guys are making the best decision on what it is that you're getting. Appreciate you guys checking this out. If you have any questions, any comments, leave them down below. If you haven't done so before, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Costs you absolutely nothing, helps us out tremendously. I will see you guys down the trail.